Welcome to the 503 Pharma Podcast, your go-to source for all things compounding pharmacy. Whether you're a pharmacist, technician, or just curious about the world of personalized medicine, we're here to bring you expert insights, practical tips, and the latest in compounding education. Join us as we explore innovative techniques, share industry updates, and dive into the art and science of creating tailored medications. Let's get started. Here's something that'll make you think twice about cost cutting. A pharmaceutical facility saved $50,000 switching cleaning suppliers, only to face millions in losses when mold started growing in their sterile cleanroom.
Well, that's a shocking way to learn an expensive lesson. How does something like that even happen in what's supposed to be one of the most controlled environments?
It's actually a fascinating case of how small decisions cascade into major problems. This facility switched to a new supplier for their sporicidal agent, basically their industrial strength cleaner. And everything looked perfect on paper. Same chemical formulation, all the right certifications, significant cost savings.
I'm sensing there's more to this story than just paperwork.
Oh, there definitely is. They started finding Aspergillus brasiliensis, a particularly nasty type of mold, in their ISO 5 hood, which is like the equivalent of finding mud in an operating room during surgery.
That's wild. But help our listeners understand why finding mold in this specific area is such a big deal.
Well, imagine a series of rooms, each one progressively cleaner than the last. The ISO 5 hood is like the inner sanctum. It's where the most critical sterile work happens. Finding mold there is basically a pharmaceutical manufacturer's worst nightmare.
So what did they do when they discovered this contamination? I imagine there was some serious scrambling.
Their immediate response seemed solid. They did what's called a triple clean protocol, quarantined affected products, retrained their entire cleaning crew. But here's where it gets interesting. They were so focused on human error that they completely missed the real problem.
Let me guess. The cleaning product itself wasn't up to the task?
Exactly right. And here's the kicker. They never actually validated whether the new cleaning product worked in their specific environment. They just assumed it would because it was chemically identical to their previous product.
Well, that seems like quite an oversight for an industry that's supposed to be all about precision and validation.
Right? And get this. They never even visited the new supplier's facility. They did what they called a desktop audit, essentially just reviewed some paperwork and a questionnaire. The FDA investigator had this perfect quote: "Trust is not a CGMP control strategy."
Oh, wow. So they basically bought a house without ever seeing it in person. How did this get past their quality control systems?
That's actually the most fascinating part of this whole story. Their quality management system had multiple chances to catch this during supplier qualification, during initial testing, during routine monitoring, but they missed every single one.
You mentioned earlier about the cost savings. How did that work out for them in the end?
Well, here's the irony. That $50,000 they saved, it turned into millions in losses when you factor in quarantined products, investigations, additional testing, production shutdowns, and FDA compliance issues. Not to mention the potential damage to their reputation.
So in trying to be penny-wise, they ended up being pound-foolish in a major way.
Exactly. And you know what's really interesting? This case exposed a broader issue in the industry. This constant pressure to reduce costs while maintaining quality. It's like trying to walk a tightrope while juggling.
That's really concerning when you think about how these products directly impact public health.
It absolutely is. And that's why the FDA has such strict requirements about validation and verification. Every change, no matter how small it seems, needs to be thoroughly evaluated. The fascinating thing is how this one decision about cleaning supplies revealed systemic issues throughout their entire operation.
What do you think is the biggest lesson other facilities can learn from this case?
I think it's that there are no shortcuts in compounding. Every decision, every change, every cost-saving measure needs to be evaluated, not just for its immediate impact, but for its potential ripple effects throughout the entire system. The real cost of cutting corners isn't just financial. It's about public safety.
That's quite a wake-up call for the industry. Who would have thought a story about mold could teach us so much about quality systems?
Well, that's what makes these cases so fascinating. They're like little windows into how complex systems can fail. And more importantly, how to prevent those failures. The mold was just a symptom of a much bigger problem, a breakdown in the fundamental systems designed to protect product quality and patient safety. That's a wrap for this episode of the 503 Pharma Podcast. Thanks for tuning in to explore the world of compounding pharmacy with us. We hope you've gained valuable insights and tips to elevate your practice. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and join us next time for more expert advice and compounding know-how.